It's a model that looks at isolating how well a goalie has played, right? Just on his own, to the best of our ability. In that measure, UC Saros, since March 1st, has been the best goalie in the league. He is 10 goals saved above expected, which means that an average goaltender in his position at time period. Long story short, yeah, you can go and tell your buddies when you talk to them in Nashville that Saros has been the best goalie in the league for a couple months, and you'll know that you got some scientific proof behind you. But that's how good he's been. So, he had the tough start to the year. He's still top 10 in this metric I talked about overall this season. And the interesting thing for me is, if I don't vote on awards, if I voted for, and media at all doesn't vote for the Vezina, that's the GMs, I would have Saros top 5 on my ballot. They all issue ballots of top 5s. He'd be in my 3 to 5 spot for sure. And I think you can make a case, if you want to get into the literal definition of what the Hart Trophy is, the player most valuable to his team. Can you name me 5 other players in the NHL that have been more valuable to the success of their team this season than Saros? You'd have to be in the mix.
It's for us to do that.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, what he has done, I talked about this last night in pregame and postgame. They were 11-16-1. That's exactly at the midway point of this season. They were given, depending on where you looked, Mike, a 1 to 2% chance. Like I said, depending on what site you were looking at, a 1 to 2% chance of making the playoffs. They went into last night's game with a 92% chance of making the playoffs. And yes, a lot of other things have changed for the good, but it all starts with his play in net. It just does.
Yeah, fully agree. Fully agree. So he's been brilliant. I think it's such a great story. And look, you can go into a first-round playoff matchup against a Tampa Bay or a Carolina or a team that's an obvious favorite, and they've got really good goaltending too. But a hot goalie at the right time, it can tip scales sometimes. So for Nashville to be getting that kind of goaltending, and as you say, right, you don't want to gloss over how good other members of the team have been also in this time, but he's the driver, no question.
Speaking with Mike Kelly, NHL Network does a tremendous job for them. So let's do a deep dive. And I know this is not official, but we kind of feel like this is where it's going. If indeed it is Carolina and Nashville in the first round, the Hurricanes can trot out 3 goaltenders if they want. With all that being said about Saros and 3 goaltenders that they're not afraid to use, how do you think Brendan Moore is going to use? Who is going to be the workhorse to start off a series, in your opinion?
Look, for me, it'd be Alex Nedeljkovic. I know he's just a rookie. He's been outstanding this season. And, they've got Peter Mrazek, and that's great, too. I think the luxury that they would have is that you can go to another guy real quick and be really confident. And that's a great luxury to have. But I love the way Alex Nedeljkovic has played this season. He's put up unbelievable numbers. Carolina, for me, their Nashville's strength has come from its goaltending, as we've talked about recently. Carolina, to me, that's not the strength of the team. The strength of the team is their ability to control the game. And they do this. I was actually just about to tweet out a video I did on the NHL Network the other day on my Twitter account that Preds fans can see if they want, but Carolina is the best forechecking team in the NHL. They dump the puck in a ton, and they are so good and apply so much pressure to go and win those pucks back and get them back and start cycling and possessing it in the offensive zone. And what makes it really interesting for the Canes in this sense is that conversely, if you try to dump pucks in against them, they're the best team at going back and recovering those dump-ins and then getting it out of their end clean. And you guys know, watching Nashville, especially recently, when the Preds are forechecking well, they create a lot of good chances and goals, and that's been pretty effective for them. Carolina's the hardest team to do that against. And they've got the most aggressive forecheck in the league, too. This is part of why they're able to control, shot differentials and goal differentials, and really control the game because they apply that pressure so well, but their defensemen can move so well. So whoever gets the Canes, it's going to be a tough matchup just because I think that, they've got the high-end skill, the Svechnikov, Aho, Teravainen, even on the back end, obviously, too, with Dougie Hamilton and Jacob Slavin and Brady Shea. But they can play a greasy game as well as anybody. So, that's a tough matchup for whoever gets them.
Yeah, we were sitting here shaking our heads. Yes, we were in agreement with what you were saying about Carolina. Predators are 0-5-1 this season against Carolina. Last thing on my end, I think the case for by the way, I agree with your assessment of who it should be. I think the biggest case that Peter Mrazek is going to make is look at his career record. For whatever reason, he has been kryptonite for Nashville. I mean, he's 10-1 career record against the Preds. I mean, the only win they ever had was last season. I mean, he is just doesn't depend. It doesn't matter on the stop. Wherever he's been, he has had the Predators' numbers over the years. And for whatever reason, Peter Mrazek, and we've kind of laughed at this stat for a long time. They've had a very, very tough time beating Peter Mrazek over the years.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I've talked to goalies about that before too. Because I'm not a huge believer in kind of things that go back multiple seasons. Like, teams change every year, and I've talked to goalies about this though, and I'm like, can you really actually just have a team's number? Like, does that exist? Like, in your head, if you're facing Nashville, you just, for some reason, you've had a bit of success against them, and you're confident, and it can actually affect performance and outcomes. And there's no look. I'm a numbers guy, right? I want proof. I want formulas. There's so much in hockey that isn't that. But I've had guys tell me that, yeah, absolutely. For some reason, either in certain buildings or against certain teams, I just, I know I'm going to do well, and I do well. And it comes from a confidence, obviously, more than anything. But I think there is something to that, even though instinctually, just because of what I do for a living, I hate to chalk it up to that. Like I said, though, for the Canes, throw either one of those guys out there, you'll be confident that you're going to get good goaltending, and at the same time, if one of them slips, you can go right to the other guy.
We're talking to Mike Kelly of the NHL Network, and as you can imagine, working here in Nashville over the last couple of years, one of the questions that I get asked a ton by hockey fans and Preds fans is, hey, what's going on with Ryan Johansson and Matt Duchene? So what is it that you see that has changed with them that, for whatever reason, Johansson's been here obviously a few years now. Their run to the Stanley Cup final, in my opinion, doesn't happen without him, even though he gets hurt in the Western Conference final. But Matt Duchene just has not lived up to the hype yet since he's been a Nashville Predator. So what have you seen out of both of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, Johansson, I've watched a few Preds games over the last couple of weeks, and he's looked good. I mean, Tolvanen coming back, I think, helps in a lot of different ways, right? Power play, we saw it really dipped when he was out of the lineup. Johansson has been, the games I've seen, he's been around the net. I don't know what the right way to say it is, whether it's inconsistency or not, but he's got a lot of talent. Everybody knows that. And he can go in these kind of spurts where he can play really well. And it almost leaves you wanting more or just, I guess, more of that highest level. But, I think that he's played pretty well. His line lately, I mean, you look at the last 5 games, their expected goal for percentage is 70%. That's outstanding. That's right where you want to be if you're a top 6 line that's counted on. So, Matt Duchene, I was looking at the start of the season as well, and Johansson for this matter too. Both of these guys were getting a lot of chances and were among the lowest end in the NHL in terms of the difference between their actual goals and their expected goals. So they were not scoring at a rate that reflected how many good chances they were getting. That's going to typically level out the more games you play and the bigger sample size you get. But I think both of these guys, they're skilled enough that they're able to go into a game and end up being the story of the game on any given night. You just want to see it more often than you do. We'll see if Nashville can ultimately be successful. And I guess by that I mean win a few rounds, potentially get back to a cup final, be a real legit cup contender with these two guys being two of the top dogs at the forward position. I have my doubts about it, but they, when they're on, they're on. So we'll see.
Yeah, and another guy, when he's on is Philip Forsberg. And the thing with him that has stunk over the last few years is there seems to be a significant injury that takes him out of the lineup for a significant amount of time. So if he stays healthy, what do you think he can be? We've had the conversation in a normal 82 game season, can he be a 40 goal scorer? But what do you see from him?
Yeah, well, I think he's the most skilled guy in their forward group. He does leave you feeling that. I think if everything went right for him in a season, 35, maybe 40. Yeah, he's dynamic enough that I think he could do it. I think 82 game season, ideally, if you could get 30 whatever goals, 50 whatever assists, point a game effort from him, then that's outstanding, and he's capable of it. Like you guys watch him. I mean, he can make highlight reel plays, and is such a dynamic player. So I think 40. I don't know that he's not a sniper in the sense of when you look at the top goal scorers, like pure goal scorers in the league, but he's a good enough hockey player that over a point a game for sure. And if everything went right for him, yeah, I think he could push up against 40. If you're looking at any player on the Predators that could do it, he'd be the guy that I'd pick.
Absolutely. And then, we witnessed Roman Josi last year win the Norris, which was, as somebody that's been around this team for a while, when Shea Weber missed on it a couple of times, that was still stinging. So to see a Predators defenseman earn that award was awesome. What's kind of the comparison that you would make to what Josi's done this year? He's missed some time with injury too, compared to last year.
Well, last year was, such an unbelievable season for him. I was pushing Roman Josi for the Norris for a good chunk of that year, just because, John Carlson was obviously right there with all the points that he was scoring and everything. And Carlson had an outstanding year too, but Roman Josi was at a freakish level. And, you talk about a transition game for Nashville and puck moving, and Josi is more of that for that team than probably any defenseman in the league, maybe any player is dependent on to do that on any team in the league. And he does it so well. Like, take it right from your own zone in the D zone, go up the ice, either attack the net or get it deep and set something up for your teammates. Good defensively too. So he did everything, and he played at such an incredibly high level. I was happy to see him win the award. I thought he absolutely deserved it. I think he's been great this season. A lot of those same kind of hallmarks of his game, and that puck moving, clean exits and getting it in. His turnover rate in the defensive zone is really low. So he's not a guy that's going to cost you a lot in that sense. There's not a lot of high danger shots against when he's on the ice, relative to what he helps produce for the team. So I think a lot of those same things are there. And he's had my count, an unbelievable season. And he'll be a guy that, again, you get up against potentially a Carolina team that likes to get pucks behind defensemen and likes to get aggressive on the forecheck, have multiple guys come and attack the puck. You'll need Roman Josi going back and helping escape so you don't get hemmed in your own end.
Mike, we really enjoyed this. There's not going to be a quiz, right? I just wanted to make sure. Because Max Hers on our board went to Vanderbilt. I need to team up with him if there is a quiz. Need some smart guys in my group. Hey, really appreciate you doing this. We enjoy your work in all seriousness. When we said we were going to have you on, we were getting a lot of feedback from people. People were excited that you were coming on. So keep up the good work, and we look forward to talking to you down the road.
Hey, I appreciate that, guys. Absolutely my pleasure. And like I said, I think Nashville's getting in, and then I've never been to a playoff game in Nashville, and man, you wish all the fans could be there, but it seems like such an awesome atmosphere with the street and everything too. It'll be fun for you guys.
Let us know if that changes and you come to town.
Absolutely. Sounds good, guys.
All right, that is Mike Kelly. NHL Network is where you can find his work. He does a really, really good job there, and just did a really good job on with us, breaking down a lot of numbers and telling you that, UC Saros, this just in. He has been really, really good. He
He
said
has.
that he's been the best goalie in the league in the last couple of months. I don't think that's any groundbreaking news, but he can take a little bit deeper and back it up with facts.
Yeah,
We just have our eyes.
right, and
We like to just give opinions.
There is totally a place for the numbers and the analytics, and it's just that's Willie is very good at that. That's what he has a passion for. I see the eye test, you see the eye test, and I think there's a place for both. But it's good to do that deep dive, as you said, on those numbers. And what he said about the Hart Trophy. I mean, I think a lot of MVP trophies, you'll see that it's a popularity contest sometimes, and you do need to do a deeper dive into just how valuable that person has been for a team. And I'm not saying that being biased by any means. There's certainly a lot of worthy candidates, but I'm glad he brought that part up. Not just
Look,
the Vezina.
I don't want to keep poo-pooing that. So the way I look at it, because he is deserving of all the credit. We have given him all the credit, okay? I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on this topic, but if you don't know for sure he is without a doubt the best goalie in the league, how can you say he's the most valuable player in the league?
Right.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
And if we're talking about, hey, he should be, he should get some 4th and 5th place votes, what are we talking about? Oh, okay.
Right.
I mean, we're going to spend time talking about maybe he gets some 4th or 5th place votes. I mean, I like I said, I don't want to poo-poo this subject, but to me, it's really irrelevant. The subject that really matters is how serious is he in the Vezina Trophy?
Sure.
Yeah, where is he in that race? Can he win it? Is he just a finalist? Is he a finalist? Because the way I look at it, it seems like 2 have punched their ticket in for sure.
Yeah.
Do I believe he should be in there as a 3rd? Yes. But, I mean, Fleury and Vasilevsky are going to be in there. They're going to be finalists. So, going back to
Who's
what you said.
Who's challenging him the most?
The original point, I mean, what are we talking about? If he's not the clear-cut best goalie in the league, how could he possibly be up for the Hart? I mean, it doesn't – I don't know why we're having this discussion. I know it's most valuable to your team, but we know who's going to win it. The guy's going to have 100 points in a 56-game season.
Sure.
It's ridiculous.
But the Cy Young winner doesn't always win the MVP. And rarely do they.
Well, no, they don't.
Yeah, I mean.
But you have to win the Cy Young to be in the MVP.
I understand that.
Like, you don't say, hey, I think this guy is a top 3 Cy Young candidate, but he also should win the MVP. Like, nobody says that.
Right. So, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that he brought that up because we were mainly asking about the Vezina. But
to me, if we know he is the best, he is going to win the Vezina. He is the guy that is been identified as the best goaltender in the league for the entire. Look, remember, it's for the entire season. It's not for half the season.
And that's the thing.
Okay, I know we're wrapped up in half a season here, and he has been the best goalie in the league for half of a season. But the award is for an entire season.
Sure.
And if you can't say he's going to win for his body of work for the entire season, then what are we talking about when it comes to the Hart? I don't know why we keep bringing this up like it's a real discussion piece. To me, it's not.
And unfortunately, injury does take you out of an award. That's a part of it. You get hurt, and he missed a good chunk of time.
Well, he missed a good chunk of time, and he wasn't that good early on in the season.
And it goes back to
there are 2 halves of the season for him.
Sure.
One, lights out, which is now.
Yeah.
And the other one got off to a really, really slow start and dealt with injuries.
And that's the thing that's kind of always been there for him too. How many times have you heard me bring up that UC Saros has slow starts? At the beginning of the season, he's slow out of the gates. To be a Vezina Trophy winner, to get to that level, and maybe this stretch can get him to that level, he can't be slow out of the gates. He's got to be consistent from start to finish.
Yep. I want to talk to you about my friends at Cool Springs.
Talk to him.
MD. Really good stuff there from Mike Kelly. Sparked quite the conversation. We're not that far from Cool Springs MD. In fact, after the show, we're gonna head to the Cool Springs area. We're not going to Cool Springs MD, but we're heading close by. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge over there, the board-certified physician, his wife, Daphne, is the registered nurse, and their experienced staff can help you improve your quality of life. And I hope you want that like I do. That's why I've been going there for years. It's why they've helped me be healthier and happier. And if you want to improve your immune systems or your energy levels, your cognitive function, or so much more, they're there for you. Maybe you've tacked on some unwanted pounds here lately that you would like to shed. Well, they got programs and products and people that can get you going in the right direction. Yes, right there under their roof. If you want to talk to them about rejuvenation, your appearance should always be important. And as we age, it gets tougher. But you can discuss with their experienced staff PRP, hair removal, Botox, and so much more. Hormone therapy. Maybe you've been feeling a little sluggish lately or a little bit off. Haven't felt like yourself, and you're wondering what the heck's going on. Go in there and get your levels checked. Maybe they've dipped really low, and that could affect you in some or all of those areas. It could also affect your mood. So you can talk to them about BHRT, testosterone, estrogen. They do it all under one roof, like I said. It's a state-of-the-art facility there in Cool Springs at 1642 Westgate Circle. If you need to call them and schedule an appointment or a consultation, dial this number, 615-283-7291. That's 283-7291. Or you can always go to their website and learn everything about them by going to coolspringsmd.com. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Or
I
Georgia.
don't know. I don't know what Max is doing today. By the way, we're going to give you a keyword before we get out of here today.
Wait.
Sound like a TV show from the 50s or 60s you started off with.
Ray Charles.
I know, Chase. Macababe.
You're quoting The Wizard of Oz
I
over
know,
Ray
but
Charles?
at the very, very beginning, felt like we were listening to The Wizard of Oz. Just you have to admit,
I felt like we were
Max-
listening to George on My Mind by Ray Charles.
Max and Elijah. It's a little bit different, the selections.
Oh,
and that's fine.
It's the fun of being a producer.
Yeah.
I like that we're at a golf course. It's
Look, don't get all frisky with me just because you hit the ball straight at Top Golf, all right? I get it. You're flexing today.
Definitely not getting frisky.
Because we can get your group to call in today and give us.
Oh, I need to check the text line. Because they said we'd probably be hearing from them.
Oh,
so,
yeah? Well, let's do that.
So I'll have to look that up.
We're going to give you that keyword to text in. Remember, you've got an opportunity to win a T-Mobile Hockey Home Gate giveaway, which is a Dos Equis prize pack, including a case of beer, dessert from Nothing But Cakes, T-Mobile prize pack, and food provided by 312 Pizza Company in Germantown. Just keep in mind you must be 21 years of age or older to enter. We will give you a keyword a little bit later. Also, we've got a great prize to give away. That we're excited about because it'll make Max really mad. He doesn't want us to give it away because he wants the pair of 2-day passes to the Pilgrimage Festival, which is out here in Franklin, close by, Saturday and Sunday, September 25th and 6th. That'll be at the farm at Harlansdale. Dave Matthews Band, Black Keys, Baron Morris, Cage the Elephant, Tanya Tucker, Better Than Ezra, a lot more. So
it's a good lineup.
We will give those tickets away as well. We'll have a trivia question for you. And I guess the only way Max is going to win is if nobody can get the question right. You know, we get no correct answers. But he has suggested that we don't give them away so he can keep them. But that's just not the case. He's not eligible. We're out here at the Simmons Bank Open for the Snedeker Foundation. We're at the Corn Ferry Tour.